All right, Ange, Valentine's Day just behind us. A lot of people getting married, but they've got no clue about the finances of getting married. Travis Freeman has a clue from
That's right.
Four Seasons Financial. Thanks for coming in.
Good to see you.
Let's talk about this. A lot of coupling getting ready to happen now.
That's right.
Because Valentine's Day is a big day for popping the question, as everybody knows.
Yeah.
And most people, including me a long time ago, don't put a whole lot of thought into this in terms of finances.
And they should, because we've all heard the statistics, unfortunately, that money's the number one reason that people fight in marriage, and it's the number one reason people get split up in those marriages. So if you follow my tips, my 3 tips today, I think you'll have a good, strong financial foundation for many years of happiness in that marriage.
But you know, the financial struggle before you get married is all about buying the rings and stuff and paying for the wedding. Who cares about the next 5 years? That's
right, and people are so excited about it, I get it, but trust me, follow these tips, and I think years down the road you'll be glad. The first one, it's simple. Here you are, you're probably at this point, your finances have not been commingled yet. Maybe you're on the same data plan on your cell phone, but I imagine your bank accounts are separate. Maybe not, you're living together, your health insurance is separate, your auto policies, and all of a sudden these things are going to start to become commingled. We need to have a conversation about spending and saving, because, for example, if you're going to spend a bunch of money on your wedding, and hopefully you won't be going into debt to do that, maybe you won't be able to put as much down on the house that you want years down the road. Every couple at this point, even though it may not be fun, needs to have a 1 to 3 year game plan, a written game plan of what they're going to do to make sure that they don't mess up the goals that they have. Because trust me, I get that excitement short term. You need to think a little bit beyond that, though.
Well, when you say game plan, like what do you include in the game plan?
A written plan. So that kind of follows into tip number 2.
Like with savings goals or something? Or?
Absolutely. So, for example, if you end up blowing way too much money on the wedding, unless you're going to the courthouse, if you do that, all of a sudden you may not have the 20% down payment you want to put on the new house together. Right. And you're faced with some issues there. So that's why you need to have the game plan. But the second one, you may be thinking about wedding bells, but you also need to think about baby bottles and college books. And here's why. Now we're thinking way into the future. Too often I see, let's say it's a husband and wife scenario. The husband may have had college completely paid for by his parents, whereas the wife, she had to work through college, she had to pay all her own bills, and I see that if they're going to have children, the person who had college paid for wants to give that same gift to their kids, whereas the person who had to work their way through school wants that same lesson of discipline for their children. I was there. Right. Now, if you end up coming together and talking about this well in advance, and you find out that you want to pay for 100% of college for 1, 2, 3, 4 kids, that's a lot of money. So maybe that determines how much house you buy, so you have enough money in your budget to put away for all that college. My wife and I are no exception. When we found out we were having identical twin boys and my jaw dropped to the floor, I'm glad we bought a house well below our means and well below what the bank approved us for, because we had plenty of money in our cash flow to start putting away for their college. Right, and you can always upgrade, right? I mean, your financial situation hopefully will improve, especially if you're young and getting married. That's right. You know, as the years go by, maybe that will improve, but it's better to start below your... Definitely, without a doubt. Below your max point. Yep. Anything else before we wrap it up? The third and final one, right, many people will, when they're dating, they might do a background check because they want to feel comfortable continuing dating, right? Well, all of a sudden, I imagine you are comfortable with each other now that you're engaged, but it's smart to sit down together and do a credit check together. Here's why. You might just assume that you're going to start to do everything together. Joint bank accounts, joint mortgage, all these things. But if you sit down and find out that one of you has a toxic credit score, it may not make sense to just default to putting everything into joint name. The apartment might only be in one person's name. The mortgage might only be in one person's name. So do these things together so you can plan for all the things that are coming about now. Well, that's something to think about. That's right. No one thinks about it, though, when you're putting the rings out. That's why I'm here, right? Thank you, Travis. Thanks, Sandy. Great to have you again.